when I got this book, the lady asked if I knew what I was getting into. I did not. This is the Book of Thoth by the Master Therion, Alester Crowley. Just up at the bottom. Alester Crowley is highly intelligent, and he has no patience for the initiate or the dull-minded, as you put it. So yeah, I had a hard time getting through this. This is the book where he describes his deck, the Egyptian deck, or as is more commonly known, the Crowley deck, the one that he designed. He is very passionate about his tarot, and he believes that the tarot is perfect. He talks about the work that went into getting in the correct order. Most probably the key cards, the 22 keys. He talks about how their order is not just the numbers of the cards, but the story that they tell from the Fool and his journey to the universe. And he believes that now this is the perfect order. The cards are in perfect order, and what the cards represent as the universe, as the entirety of, well, I mean, the tarot represents a picture of the universe in its entirety, and nothing is mixed out, is missed. Every card representing an aspect of the universe. So in the tarot deck lies everything. So this book is kind of a love letter from Alester Crowley to his cards. And what I mean by that is that he's not talking about them as tools, as a means of divination or a means to an end in any form. He's talking about the cards as they are, really as cards, and the art of designing them. He starts with the 22 key cards, and he goes into high detail of what they are, what they symbolize, what they mean, as what they are, as the Hanged Man, as the Fool, the lovers. And he goes into detail of what they are, but then he goes into detail of how he designed them and how he drew them to bring out the story that they represent, and the entire story, the entire part that they represent in the universe. And he added so many small details to every single card, every single one of the 22 keys. Then he goes to the court cards, the knights, queens, prince, and princess cards of each of the suits, and he details not only what they mean to each other in each suit, but also how they interact with each other across the suits, and how they represent the elements: fire, water, earth, and air, and the story that they tell with the element. And then he goes into the small cards, the 1 through 10s. He talks about not just what they mean individually, but also the story they tell from 1 to 10, of kind of a fall from glory of the most essence part of their element. But he begins the book in the first section talking about not about the cards individually, but the cards as a whole. He's talking about the tarot as a whole, and this is my favorite part of the book. He goes into detail from all these different aspects of it, not from the history of the tarot. Here's a little bit about the history of the tarot, but he talks about it in relation to everything else. He talks about in relation to the Kabbalah, to the Tree of Life symbolism. He talks about it in relation to the Tetragrammaton, the name of God, and how it relates to nature, the elements, of course. And he talks about even the tarot in relation to the universe and all these aspects individually. He ends this section talking about the tarot as being alive, and every single card as being a living thing. Now, what he means by this, it seems, is more along the lines of not using the cards as tools. Again, he doesn't say that in those so many words. This is an aspect of this book. It's a theme of this book, of the tarot not as a tool, but as a relationship, as a friend. It's something you build over time. And he talks a lot about the cards as if they're living, that you use them like you talk to a friend, and a reverence and a respect for them that I never really heard from other. Well, everybody has that discussion of a respect for their cards, but there's always that underlying tone of a tool, at least from what I've seen. But with Alester Crowley, it's like he's writing about a friend when he writes this book and when he talks about his deck and his cards. Honestly, the way he talks about his deck and his card and the love he has for them, the respect and reverence he has for his deck, it reminds me a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! To be honest. I mean, he never uses the term heart of the cards in this book, but he has such a trust and respect for them. It's just, I felt like I was watching an episode. Honestly, only not to take away from his brilliance and his writing, which he really, the man can write. He wrote some poetry books. I think I might buy a couple of them because I really want to read more of his writing. I'm looking forward to that. This book is dense. Alester Crowley is highly intelligent, and I couldn't keep up with it. It took me a while. I'm gonna have to read through it. I'm looking forward to reading through it again with help of my encyclopedia of the Golden Dawn that I bought for it, to help kind of as just kind of walk through this and to understand what he's, more of the depth of what he's talking about and how he sees not only the cards but through the cards the universe. I'm looking forward to adding more of his writings to my collection because this is words I believe that you can learn from anybody. Some people are just born to be teachers.